My name is Martin Muir. I'm the Vice Chairman of the Zoning Board of Appeals. To my left is Jeannie Regan. To my right is Charles Law, John Brown, and Mary Ellen Carpenter. Before us, we have a request for a 12-month extension of a variance that we granted approximately May, I guess, of 2025. The applicant has requested a 12-month extension to the previously approved variance dated November 28th, originally 2023, which expired May 28th, 2025 for the following section 310.11.k, the FAR zoning chart, allowed 0.3632, existing 0.297, proposed 0.474, variance requested of 0.112. Also a variance for section 210.11.c, lot size and depth, minimum required lot area, 12,000 square feet, 10,800 square feet, requested variance of 1,200 square feet lot size. Minimum required lot depth, 100 feet, proposed lot depth, 78, variance of 22 feet lot depth. Minimum required land area for each dwelling is 8,250 square feet, proposed area of 10,800 square feet, complies, therefore no variance required. Section 210.11.d, yards, minimum required front 20 feet, proposed front yard 14.6, variance of 5.4 feet, front yard setback. Minimum required rear yard setback 30 feet, proposed 8.5 feet, rear deck variance required 21.5, rear deck setback. Section 210.11.f, maximum building coverage allowed 25%, existing coverage 24.24, proposed 33.3. Variance required is 8.3%. With that, would you like to make our presentation? Please tell us your name and where we are in this process.
Well, good evening, everyone. I appreciate the audience. And I want to first off apologize for, I would say, miscommunication that took place last time. I think while it is certainly our responsibility to predict the schedule, I would say we were aware that we were on the dais and we didn't mean to waste anybody's time. We would have been here had we known. Again, we own that. So first off, my name is Brent Tsugi. I am one of the owners of 20 Bronxville Road. This has been a project that my wife, Lauren Krause, has largely spearheaded. She's one of most of you, perhaps. Certainly, a lot of time has transpired from the initial time that we received the variance and the extension that we requested and such that we received.
Excuse me one second. Can you hear him all right back there? Maybe we should go up to the... Yeah, thank you.
Okay, sorry.
Start again?
No, you're fine.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Certainly in that time, I think that the project and the work that we've done has certainly been advanced very significantly. We have received bids from several contractors. The design itself, and I'm sure Steve can further highlight this, has gone through numerous iterations and reviews. We have had lots of fits and starts financing the opportunity, and I think we've spoken to nearly 40 SIBs, regionals, and super regional banks. I think that the environment right now, frankly, is not terribly constructive for commercial lending, and certainly commercial lending within a flood zone. But we've done everything to progress this project from our perspective, and what we're asking for is a bit more time. Admittedly, when we asked for the 6 months variance the first time, I think it was on the council of Steve that we go forth and ask for 6 months. Admittedly, it was our desire for more time. We probably should have asked for 12 at that point in time, but we didn't. And that's a learning for us. I think we were ambitious in advancing the project. We were ambitious with our view on securing financing, and certainly having gone through the ringer with nearly 40 banks, we now have a package that's underwritten, appraised. We have one last submission before we're ready to file our building permit and frankly start the work. We have bid packages received from several qualified contractors, so all we're asking for is a bit more time. I appreciate that this is the second time we're asking for this, and I also appreciate the amount of time that's transpired is extensive, but I wanted to just articulate how committed we are to getting this done. We still firmly believe that this is a great benefit to the community, to that street, to really just create a new vision for Parkway Road, one that certainly is going to be a lot more climate resilient that exists there today. I'm happy to answer any questions that you guys have. If there's anything technical, I'm going to fully admit I'm going to be outside and over my skis. I'm going to hand it over to Steve.
I guess the first question I would have, is there any change in your variance that you're requesting as opposed to, because you said you've worked on a number of modifications, is this the same variance that you asked for before, or is there any change that?
There's no alterations. It's 100% the same.
And I guess how close to shovel-ready are you? When do you, this suggests that you begin in the summer? Is that still your timing?
Yes, that's correct. I think that we have asbestos remediation work that we need to do before we can file the building permit. Steve, again, will keep me honest, but I think we have a vendor lined up. We're effectively ready to go if we're given a further extension of the variance.
Why are you asking for a year and not 6 more months? I mean, it's a lot of time, and this is an issue, for me at least.
I would fully appreciate that. I think we'd be very happy with any time that the
I'm not sure we can modify it. You've asked for a year, so. Can we?
No, I don't think this is the basis for a negotiation. I think that.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
So I think the question is, what's the reasonable time frame, do you think, the completion of the project?
I think to start construction, 6 months. It's reasonable.
No, completion, he said, not starting.
I would say, Steve, you can keep me honest in terms of the overall construction horizon, but I think 2 years is probably what we're envisioning from start.
2 years. So you're going to need another extension, is what you're saying. Go ahead.
If you'd introduce yourself, I'd appreciate it.
Good evening. My name is Steve Seekine. I'm the project architect and working with Brent and Lauren over the last couple of years. I think the year request is a chastened project team where we're fairly committed to having a 6-month extension be sufficient. And the climate in terms of bidding, in terms of interest rates, in terms of lenders' comfort levels in flood zones, tariffs, this, that, it's kind of reshaped, some of the bidding climate. And knowing what we do now, we would have, like Brent said, for a year at first. And now I think we're being very conservative in asking for a year in this climate. I don't expect that it's going to take a year to get a shovel in the ground. And I think once in the ground, I think the actual construction activity should really be between 12 and 15 months.
Yeah.
So that's really our expectation.
Well, if that happens, that means you're going to come back for another extension because you'll be beyond the year that, if you get the year tonight.
Kevin?
Let Kevin speak.
Kevin?
I think once you grant the extension, they have up to 6 months to start the project, otherwise they have to go back for a variance.
And then a year after
Yeah,
that.
once they start, once we issue the permit, they have 2 years to finish the job. That's the length of the permit.
2 years, okay.
But they have to start within 6 months of the
The extension.
Okay.
extension. So they
Okay.
wouldn't have to come back as long as they started within that 6 months from when you grant this, once we grant the permit.
Or a year in this case.
Yeah, whatever year, or whatever you guys decide to extend it.
Right.
Could you help me understand the letter of April 4th from Lauren, what is the present situation? Is it one lot?
It's two separate tax lots that are convenient.
Now you're asking to proceed with 3 lots.
Correct, so that it can be condoized, so it can be financed.
So you're asking us to change the configuration?
Yeah, wouldn't that change the requests for a variance if you have separate lots?
No, this
Evan?
is very,
No, I believe that's up to the assessor's office. They handle all that. We just look at the,
Just for tax
Yeah, but-
purposes?
We do the work,
Yeah.
the work that they're doing
yeah, as
now.
long as they're not changing the design of the house or anything like that, it's as long as it's still a 3-family, I guess.
But are you going to sell each individual lots separately?
No, the intention is to rent 2 and live in 1,
Well, you're saying you want to convert them to condos with 3 lots.
so that
It sounds like you would be able to sell each one separately,
it's a liability
and that person would be the owner of that lot.
perspective, and that could be a solution.
Right, I mean, I'm just concerned here,
Yeah,
are we
there's a lot of
changing,
uncertainty for me.
we're changing the configuration here? Is this a one-lot area?
No, it's 2 tax lots.
Yeah, it's 2 lots now, from what I understand, and when I spoke with the assessor, he said that was something that was allowed to be done, because I guess Eastchester sets the standards for that, and we just go along with it.
Yeah, but then if you change from 2 lots to 3 lots,
I don't think
each
they're
one's going to get
changing the
smaller.
lots.
What kind of precedence does that set for that neighborhood?
I don't think they can change it to 3 lots. I think it's got to stay the 2 lots, but they can have the 3
Well,
condos
that's not
on
what
it.
they're saying in this letter of April 4th. They're saying that they would like written confirmation acknowledging our plan to proceed as condos with 3 lots.
It says 3 separate tax IDs, so I think you can have more than 1 tax ID on a lot.
I'm just confused. If it's a condo, you're selling it.
Not necessarily.
Are you going to have the ability to sell it? You might not want to sell it initially, but, well, I'm just confused with this whole thing.
Are you living there now?
It's occupied.
By you? Where are you living?
I'm in Florida.
Florida, okay.
So why are you classifying them as condos?
So that we can get insurance and the renters can get insurance.
Yeah, but my understanding of a condo, it's individually ownership. You can have the ability for individual ownership for each unit.
We're going to own all 3.
I'm sorry?
We are going to own all 3.
I know you are, but what does that do for the future? If you have 3 separate condos, you should have the ability to sell each one off separately.
But weren't they 3 townhouses anyway?
No.
No.
I
Yes,
thought
yes, they
3
were.
Yes, they were. They're
Oh,
3
they were
townhouses.
3 townhouses,
Yeah,
yes.
so
But
you-
but
they would
the
be-
ownership was different. You know, you would sell it as one if you were doing it, you know. It's
confused.
just a totally different dynamic right now than when you applied for the variance.
Initially.
And, you know, I mean, I'll give you my thoughts when I vote, but it sounds like it's, yeah, where are we specifically on the other issues? On well, the bidding you talked about. You talked about the construction bidding, but the materials, you were talking about tariffs, is that affecting, has there been specifically any progress in the last month since we were here last month?
yes.
Okay, tell us what it
In
is.
fact, one of the contractors was holding his bid from last year and said he would honor the same numbers.
Okay, and
So
you've
there-
signed a contract?
The bid that we went back to him and said, has there been any change in the numbers in light of what's going on? And he said he'll honor those numbers.
Okay, and so have you hired that person and signed a contract?
We're negotiating with him.
You're negotiating, but you have not signed a contract
No.
then? Okay.
I'm still confused on this condominium situation. To me, condominiums have individual ownership, and you have the ability to sell them, And what's the common areas that they will have, those three? I mean, a condo would own the unit. He would own that unit if you sold it, if you want to convert them to condos.
But weren't they three single-family townhouses? Wasn't that how it was set up?
No, that's not my understanding.
Well, when we gave the variance,
Yeah,
back
that's what
then,
we
it
were
was
giving
going to
it
be
for.
three separate townhouses.
Townhouses.
Yeah.
So they were
We had the drawings, it
single-family
was three
versus
townhouses.
condos, which is just a tax structure
Yeah,
versus.
that's just tax.
It's really for tax
Yeah.
structure and also.
Because you could sell a
was it-
townhouse.
Why
But a
was it?
condo is a different legal entity, that's the issue, and, you know,
And they're saying they need that to, in order to.
Get the financing.
Financing and get in a flood zone, so they're just, it allows, that.
Wouldn't you be able to sell townhouses separately, too?
Yeah, yes.
But they didn't say that when they came for the variance.
Right. But the variance they did, when we approved the variance, it was for
There's,
all these things, back and front doors for three different individual townhouses.
Right, that they were going to rent two and live in one.
Right. That was what we gave the approval for.
and going back to your question of common areas, it's really operating as three individual townhouses. There is a common backyard, there is common driveway, there are storage facilities in the basement that are partitioned off, but it's not envisioned as, like in the city, you know, when you have condos and recreation areas and meeting rooms, this is not the case. This is really three townhouses, and as Kevin can tell you, it's really regulated as three single-family units. It's not multifamily. It's townhouses. It's three individual, single-family.
And it had been a multifamily dwelling, right? Yeah, it was already a multifamily dwelling.
One place.
The one house was multifamily, upstairs and downstairs.
So just so I understand this, the motivation and why it would be more financeable, is it because the property tax charges are different on condominiums than what's the,
Townhouses.
what's the economic incentive to turn them into condominiums that drove your,
It's a price value.
I'm sorry?
They'll appraise higher.
They'll appraise higher individually, so when you're going out for a loan-to-value ratio, you're getting a higher borrowing level, which makes the economics of your project more viable. Okay, got it. But there's not a difference in property taxes between condominiums and rentals? I thought there was.
Condominium and single-family, there is a different tax structure, but that would be that would be an assessor issue.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They would have
not
to
ours.
answer that question for you.
Right, okay. Got it.
I'm sorry, what did you say, Kevin?
The assessor would have to answer that question, what the tax difference between a condo or townhouse or individual home would be.
And that's not really an issue for us, is it?
No, I was just trying to understand the math behind why somebody would give a higher appraisal for a condo versus a multi-family dwelling.
So if you were to get this extension on your variance, you say you've made a lot of progress, you've got a bid that you might be accepting. Do you really think you'd get going really very soon on this project? It won't be like 6 months from now or anything?
We're ready to go.
Other questions?
Yeah, so what are we deciding tonight? Are we deciding just to extend
The variance.
the variance that we previously extended?
Yes,
I think
Or-
that's right.
that's it.
So what does it have to now proceed as condos with 3 lots? I mean, aren't they asking for something more?
I think they're asking for also
To me,
for
they are.
a written acknowledgement, but that's not really our role
That's not our role.
as a zoning board, so we probably, I think our matter is strictly
Extending the variance.
extending the existing variance.
And would this extension be from last month, or from when they
believe it's retro.
applied, or?
Retroactive,
Retroactive from May 28th
yeah, it expired.
to 2025 to May 28th, 2026. Okay.
And the extension is for how long?
Their request
They're
is for
requesting 1 year.
12 months. No.
But the minute they put a shovel in the ground, they have then 2 years to finish the project. Is that correct?
Yes, once the permit's issued, they have up to 6 months to start, otherwise the variance
Right,
is
goes-
lost.
yeah.
So,
Okay.
and then from the issue of the permit, you have 2 years to finish.
All right, so even if we give the 1 year now, they still have to get that shovel in the ground within 6 months?
Once, after the permit's issued, they have
After the
6
permit's
months,
issued, yeah,
yes.
after-
I got you, okay.
So if they
Okay.
take a while to come get the permit, and they're, you know,
Are you in the process of applying for permits? Okay,
Everything's ready except the asbestos remediation, which we
okay.
have here identified and ready to start.
Okay. So I guess we should go to a vote. So the resolution would be to approve and extend the existing variance from May 28th, 2025 to May 28th, 2026. I think I've read it once. Should I read it again, or are you comfortable with the contents of it? That's fine. Okay. Janie?
I vote in favor of the extension. I'm looking forward to you guys getting to work on this. It's been hanging out there for a while. I'm sure you're looking forward to it too, so the sooner the better.
Charles?
In my view, too much time is being requested, and there's too much uncertainty here, so I'm going to vote no.
John?
I concur with Charlie's position, and I vote no.
Mary Ellen?
I approve the extending the variance requested.
Because I'm the decider, and I vote yes, because I think that it's a very good project. I've always, we did a tour of it. I think it's, will enhance the neighborhood. I hope to see you in town, but hopefully not before our zoning committee again asking for another variance.
Thank you, I appreciate the time, everyone.
quick question, is that also about the letter you're going to give them for the,
There is no, yeah, there won't be a letter.
well, maybe we should make that clear so they know.
I think I did.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Yeah, no, there's not going to be a letter for acknowledging there's 3 condos. It's not relevant for us as a zoning board. Okay, with that, we conclude.
Thank you.
Yeah, they said on there, that's their application, they're applying.